Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, back with another video on Paralives. This is going to be about the most recent couple of dev chats that have been made public. I don't know why, only very recently I joined the Paralives Discord. So it's like, okay, well that's where that info has been all this time. So without further ado, let's get right into it. First question, is there a way to teleport paras from one place to another in the map instead of waiting for them to go across the whole map? Jeremy says there's a non-official way via some keyboard shortcut currently in the game, but I'm not sure if it'll stay a development feature or if we'll allow it in the final build somehow. Thank you for the question. If any of you on the Paralives team happen to be watching this video, yes, please give us a way of teleporting our paras instantly, whether it's through a cheat or a keyboard shortcut, because it's not just good for like if you don't feel like watching your para walk all the way across town, but it's very good for setting up storytelling. Like if the lighting is just perfect during a sunset or something, and I need to get my para somewhere where there's like a really nice view and I want to take a picture, using a teleport interaction is very handy for that, because if I wait for my para to go all the way across town to there, then there's a chance I could lose that ideal lighting, and then it's just like, oh, well, dang it. So it would also be very good to have teleporting for machinima purposes. This next question I thought would be kind of fun to cover, even though it's just all theoretical at this point. I'm really passionate about having hobbies in life sims, so yeah, what ones would they like to see? Andre says band rehearsals. Yes, that would be awesome. Blacksmithing, Alejandro says. Leia says line dancing. Now that would be really fun. I'm sure there'd be some really good animations for that. Chloe says knitting / crochet would be a popular one, I'm sure. Otherwise, drawing / digital drawing would be fun. We have only painting for adults right now. Alice says, I would love to add sewing, drawing, and pottery. Yes, those would all be pretty solid ones. Charlotte says, I'd also love to see fabric craft related hobbies and maybe writing as well. Oh yeah, writing for sure. I'm a little surprised it's not already in the game, even though it's still going to be early access. But writing, I think, would be a lot easier to get in animation-wise than something like line dancing. They were also asked, what's your favorite low-poly video game critter? And I had to highlight Charlotte's answer because the seagull. Oh boy. Yeah, The Sims 4 seagull. I really hope they make cute-looking seagulls for Paralives, because I think they can keep them low-poly while still having them look better than that. We don't need to do the meme thing every time. Seagulls and pigeons could be an interesting way of just kind of dipping their toes into how wildlife could look in Paralives. They don't need to be interactive right away. They can just have them be visual effects that fly around, and then maybe we could have like some sort of marker that we could place down that goes invisible in live mode. So if we want to have even more pigeons and seagulls around, then we could do that as well. Now here's something really interesting. Preteens are confirmed for Paralives. I don't know exactly when they were first announced, because this is the first I'm hearing about them, even though I've been following the game since the beginning. But what can you tell us about the preteen life stage? Is it called the preteen life stage, or are you going with a different name like tween? Jeremy says, what I can currently say about the preteen life stage is that it starts at 9 years old, lasts for 8 in-game days by default, unlocks your vibe and nets you a stat point, has 3 growth spurts, and allows a few new interactions that earlier life stages could not perform. That's really cool that there's even growth spurts within the life stage, because I always felt like preteens wouldn't make sense unless there was more gradual aging than just blowing out candles, spinning around. It's like, oh, suddenly I'm 5 years older. So yeah, like there's going to still be distinct age groups, but if they do end up being more gradual, then okay, that does make more sense. One other question related to preteens is, are preteens or teens able to work part-time jobs? Like for preteens, I'm thinking more like babysitting, dog walking, once pets are added, etc. Jeremy says, we currently do not have part-time jobs in the game. There are only rabbit hole occupations and school. Characters at the teen and up life stage can get a job. I think it'll be fun to add part-time jobs in the future. Yeah, it would be cool to see part-time jobs eventually, but now I'm a little confused because in this trailer we see a para work at a coffee shop that's clearly a location that we can visit and go inside. So I guess rabbit hole jobs in Paralives is kind of like when you use those mods in The Sims 3, the rabbit hole rugs and the rabbit hole doors, where you can use those so you can build like a normal location that you can visit, but then workers would disappear into the rug or the door. Like, okay, if that's how it works, then that is a lot better than I think how vanilla Sims 3 worked. Next question is related to the pair maker. What's the function of the ellipses option next to non-binary in the gender selector? Jeremy says this opens an advanced menu where you can select things like, for instance, if your character can get others pregnant. Okay, that's good. That's in there. And I love vintage stuff, clothes, items, etc. Will there be any vintage items in Paralives? Chloe says, we have some items in this style at the moment, but we plan on adding more during and after the early access release. Any updates on some non-life-threatening diseases? Will we be getting some common colds in early access, or is that something you think about implementing with an upgrade like seasons? Anna says, yes, there's a little virus you can catch at work or school. You can also get sick from spoiled food. More might come in the future. Okay, that's cool. I wasn't sure if that was something we'd have in early access so soon, but that is good to have a little bit of realism and a bit of pushback. I know the create a world tool is still a while off, but could multiple worlds exist in a single save, allowing you to move between them, or will it be a one world per save situation? Jeremy says, I'm not sure. Currently you can only have one town per save. I think this is world in your context, but I don't think it's a limitation of our system. We could have multiple towns in the same save, I think, but we never tried, so it's a bit hard to say for sure. We'll look into it someday though. That's really interesting. I just assumed it was going to be a one town per save situation, especially with it being open world. That would probably be the safest way of doing things without hopefully having to worry about things like save corruption, even though there's other causes that could lead to something like that. But interesting, if there was a way that they could make it stable once they do add more towns to the game later on, then that would be pretty cool if we could have more than one town per save, and then we could visit the other towns and have crossovers between paras living in the different locations. Another interesting town-related question, will there be a difference in lot/house price as lots get closer to the town center? Jeremy says, oh, that would be a nice touch. Not currently, no. The concept of town areas having lot value multipliers isn't something we have in the game, but I like the idea. Yeah, that would be very cool. I think that would be another very neat touch of realism that I hadn't really considered before, but then that does give you more things to think about in terms of balance of like where you live. Does it make sense for you to live closer to the town, or maybe live a little bit further away from the town center? But another question, bunk beds. So wanted to know if they're going to be part of early access or if they'll arrive later. Chloe says they won't be in early access since there are technical challenges and animations that need to be done before they can be functional. We have one that works with the resizing and all, the one that was showcased a while ago, but we won't make it available for now since it's not functional for the time being. Yeah, I remember that video. That was such a long time ago, but I remember being so impressed on how you can just stretch a single bed into multiple sizes instead of it being one object is one single bed and then another object is the double bed variant of it. So that's very cool. But I can understand that would be a lot of animation work to get it all working right. So yeah, bunk beds I don't need right away, but it'll be awesome once we do have them. In terms of the amount of townies, Jeremy says that there's currently 70 characters in the save file, but most of these are not official townies yet. They haven't committed to any hard number yet. So, okay. I mean, 70 does seem like a pretty reasonable number, at least from what little I know of the town, because, I don't know. I just feel like I need to actually see the whole thing to really have an idea of whether that's a good enough number or if there should be more. But okay, yeah, I do look forward to exploring the town in full once it's out in early access. Is there an age limit on when paras can start getting life goals? Jeremy says, there isn't a hard age limit on life goals, but the ones we have currently are locked behind requirements like skill levels, relationships, and career progression, for instance. So you would need to be a certain age before these could appear anyways. Adding life goals specifically for younger para folks is on our radar. Similar question here about life goals, things that can be related to how they're triggered, but are not limited to skills, relationship labels, careers, time spent in the game, money, how much you've decorated your house, and more. That does sound intriguing. I do like having some long-term goals that I can work towards too if I want. But that is pretty much it for now. So some interesting info here, and intriguing that they are actually putting preteens into the game. And I do hope they consider some of those ideas that were suggested, like having different property values depending on how close you are to the town center. So feel free to let me know your thoughts on everything that we covered in this video in the comment section below. And be sure to subscribe if you'd like to keep up with my latest gaming content. I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching.